We've been burnt countless times before in seeing a great standalone piece of storytelling forced into a franchise it didn't need, only to have its legacy tarnished. But with its second season back in 2022, against all odds, Netflix's Delhi Crime managed to evolve into a remarkably consistent franchise that follows new cases in the lives of these characters. And now, one of the streaming age's greatest creations, Madam Sir aka DCP Vartika Chaturvedi, played by the inimitable Shefali Shah, and her crack team of overworked officers, are back with a third chapter. Early on in this new season, I found myself delighted to be back in this world with these characters. I didn't realize how much I missed them. And this gloomy, potent world and its haunting, gut-punch drama, thunderous cast, and the aching sensitivity with which it examines the devils that live among us and the conditions that created them. Amidst a sea of conventional crime dramas, there's a reason Delhi Crime stands out as one of the finest. Back at the helm is director Tanuj Chopra, who took the reins from the formidable Ruchi Mehta after the first season. Season 3 follows a massive child sex trafficking racket led by the nefarious Badi Didi, played by Huma Qureshi. Her operation kidnaps or purchases young girls from different parts of the country and sells them off to the highest bidder, be it roadside brothels or men seeking brides in states with a lacking female population or slimy overseas businessmen. The action this time jumps from Assam to Haryana to Rajasthan to Bihar in a sprawling interstate investigation to try and track down a shipment of young girls before it's too late. Like The Hard and Bhagwat Chapter 1, both of which were inspired by the same case, in this new season of Delhi Crime, it's India that's the villain. The culprits are masterminds who exploit an indifferent system by kidnapping young girls from a society that doesn't care to go after them. Is someone truly missing if no one's looking for them? Is it kidnapping if your victims are invisible? Who will seek justice for these girls when it's often their family members who are selling them? As one character says, no one misses missing girls. And yet in the latter half of the season, you start to see chinks in the narrative armor and cracks in the writing. The rich visual texture from DOPs Johan Eit and Eric Wonderlin, the gloriously dedicated performers, and the force of nature that is Shefali Shah can only take you so far. With season 3, you get a sense that this show has begun chasing its own tail and playing the hits. We've seen these conflicts and ideas before: a race against time, limited resources and sleepless nights, a fight with bureaucracy and the higher-ups, duty that threatens their personal lives and beyond. It appears formula has creeped into the fury of Netflix's finest Indian series. The oddly structured 6-episode season from writers Shubhra Swaroop, Michael Hogan, Anu Singh Chaudhary, Apurva Bakshi, and Mayank Tiwari spreads itself too thin, trying to tackle multiple subplots and characters without awarding them the patience and attention they need. Of our favorite team of Delhi police officers, only Rasika Dugal's Neeti seems to be given any sort of arc, wrestling with divorce as well as her new senior position. See what Rasika does in an excellent moment when Madam Sir walks in and Neeti's body language collapses as she tries to navigate her new authority whilst conceding to the boss she used to serve. But the remainder of the cast is relegated to merely driving the investigation and risk becoming pawns to the plot. This show used to be as much about the crime as it was about the people investigating it. The superb Rajesh Tailang as Bhupendra, for example, is front and center in the investigation, but little else. Elsewhere, standouts like Anurag, Arora and Jaya Bhattacharya are given a handful of brief sequences, and Gopal Dutt, one of my favorite actors, merely gets a blink and you'll miss it appearance. Everyone here feels like an extended cameo. To see such a tremendous cast underutilized is painful. That holds true for the criminal half of the show as well. The excellent Anshuman Pushkar plays one of Badi Didi's goons who matters to the narrative till he doesn't. Similarly, Badi Didi's two generals show sinister promise but again have little to do. As Kusum, Shayoni Gupta has real flair as a simmering psychopath, but that's minimally explored. Similarly, a crackling, scene-stealing Meeta Vashisht plays a chillingly manipulative child trafficker, Kalyani, but just as she takes center stage, the narrative is done with her. Instead, the focus is Badi Didi, and despite the towering presence Huma brings to her, the show doesn't seem to know what to do with her character after a point. We don't feel the walls closing in and her increasing desperation like the makers want us to. With her, the narrative has a serious stakes problem. We spend so long going in circles with her and the girls that she's held captive that it loses impact and we don't feel the tragedy or tension. So much so that the final leg of this season seems to crumble and throw its hands up in the air entirely. The final showdown between Madam Sir and Badi Didi in particular is a bit of surprisingly shoddy writing for a show of this caliber. I maintain that despite its flaws, this season of Delhi Crime has some of the finest craft and one of the finest casts you'll come across this year. But I'll remember this season for individual moments and harrowing standalone sequences rather than a larger emotional journey that it wants to take us on. The way the camera pans through a blood-stained hotel room where a child was attacked, for example, or a bone-chilling interrogation scene that later follows when we find out what happened to that child. Or when a young girl in a village sees a female police officer and her face lights up with reverence, while we are made to wonder how many like her this system has failed and whether she too will one day become invisible. The THR bottom line for Delhi Crime Season 3 is it appears formula has finally creeped in to the fury. You can watch Delhi Crime Season 3 on Netflix. For more reviews like this one, subscribe to THR India.